you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work.
The BMF empire is once again in turmoil after Big Meech was captured on camera breaking down in tears, addressing the public for the first time about an alleged $120 million scam involving Rick Ross. In the viral clip, the once-feared kingpin appears deeply emotional as he opens up about how Ross's questionable business moves allegedly drained BMF's fortune and dismantled everything he had built over the years. "I built this empire from nothing, and he took it all," Big Meech declared, his voice trembling as he recounted the shocking fallout from what was supposed to be a major partnership. What began as a promising collaboration, he claimed, turned into a financial nightmare. Meech accused Rick Ross of contract manipulation, profit rerouting, and betrayal, all for personal gain. But his message wasn't just about loss. It was a warning. "This ain't over. Every dollar, every lie, every move, I'm coming for it all," he vowed. The viral video sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world.
Vlad, let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No.
No? You think 50?
No.
Lil Meech.
No.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing.
Reigniting debates about Ross's true role in BMF's dealings. If Meech's words ring true, this is no mere feud. It's the opening salvo of a full-blown war that could shake the entire industry and redefine the legacy of BMF. Rick Ross may have just made one of the boldest, most dangerous plays the game has seen in years, and it came at Big Meech's expense. Reports are now surfacing that Big Meech has finally come face-to-face with Rick Ross over the explosive situation, and as expected, 50 Cent wasted no time roasting them both online. The internet has gone into overdrive, with fans treating the unfolding drama like the grand finale of a high-stakes reality show. But one question keeps echoing across social media. What did Big Meech really think would happen when partnering with someone who once had ties to law enforcement and mastered the art of the system? Since the moment Rick Ross publicly distanced himself from Meech, 50 Cent has been ruthless, dropping cryptic jabs and savage posts aimed at both Big Meech and Lil Meech across every major platform. Yet the real bombshell came just months after Big Meech's release from prison. Instead of keeping a low profile or reconnecting with those who genuinely supported him, he was spotted partying in Miami with Rick Ross.
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that
posing for photos like old friends. The move blindsided fans and insiders alike, especially given Ross's long-standing beef with 50 Cent. Many assumed Meech would tread carefully out of respect for the people who held him down during his sentence. Instead, his open alliance with Ross was seen by some as a betrayal, a quiet stab in 50's back. And the tension didn't stop there. While Lil Meech continues to throw shade at 50 through real power posts, Big Meech raised eyebrows again by linking up with Floyd Mayweather, another heavyweight connected to Ross's camp. The optics are wild, and they've only escalated the feud even further. One thing's clear, this saga is far from over. Big Meech's name might have generated tens of millions in hype and cultural currency, but when it comes to actually building an empire, 50 Cent remains the one who turned that legacy into real power. Rick Ross seems to have been playing an entirely different game.
I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
From the start. One built on manipulation, image control, and calculated exits. Using Big Meech's legendary name as a pawn in his clout-chasing strategy, Ross reportedly contributed little of real value. Instead, he capitalized on Meech's reputation, turning every headline into a self-serving PR move. Insiders claim Ross knew the chaos surrounding their partnership would eventually explode online, and when it did, he disappeared right on cue, leaving Meech to deal with the fallout. Publicly, Ross blamed his sudden absence on a shoulder injury, but many believe that excuse was just a strategic smokescreen to dodge backlash. Behind the scenes, the former correctional officer turned rapper was allegedly flipping the script and investors' wallets through his controversial Boss Token crypto project, which ended in disaster. After fans accused him of orchestrating a rug pull, the internet branded him Rug Ross. Coincidentally, That same shoulder injury surfaced right after he was called out for lying to Big Meech, a moment that sent shockwaves through hip-hop circles. According to sources, Ross quietly dumped most of his crypto holdings before the crash, turning his profits into real estate deals while others were left holding worthless tokens. Critics argue that if Ross hadn't blocked Meech's comeback with his shady schemes and opportunistic business plays, the former BMF boss might have had a real shot at redemption. Instead, Meech found himself surrounded by manipulation, misplaced trust, and moves that benefited Ross far more than they ever did him. Meanwhile, Lil Meech is catching heavy criticism online as fans mock how quickly that supposed brotherhood with Rick Ross fell apart. The meltdown has dominated hip-hop discussions, drawing commentary from actors, podcasters, and industry voices. Among the most vocal critics is Michael Rainey Jr. from Power, who said he has zero sympathy for either Meech, calling both men grown enough to see betrayal coming. As always, 50 Cent didn't stay quiet. He doubled down online, reminding everyone that loyalty and strategy still matter in this business. Industry figures like DJ Vlad echoed the sentiment, warning that 50 is the last person anyone should cross, because he'll dismantle an entire situation just to prove a point. And this isn't the first time Ross has allegedly left people stranded. Reports from past incidents, including one in Canada where his own team was ambushed while he slipped away, paint a consistent picture. Ross prioritizes self-preservation over solidarity. Those close to the situation say he's always been a strategist, calculating his exit plan before the storm even hits. Industry insiders now believe Ross foresaw the fallout with Meech long before it erupted, especially after WAC 100 accused him of being the real puppet master behind the growing tension between 50 Cent and the Flenory family. If that's true, Ross may have been orchestrating this collapse from behind the curtain the entire time. What's become clear is that Big Meech never truly had an ally in Rick Ross. From the beginning, Ross hyped him up with promises of rebuilding BMF, stacking money, and reclaiming his throne, all while parading their connection online to boost his own image. But when loyalty was tested, every word turned out to be empty. WAC 100 wasn't exaggerating when he called Ross out. If Ross genuinely wanted to help Meech, he would have kept their business private and focused on real opportunities. Instead, he chose attention over authenticity, firing shots at 50 and stirring up drama he knew would never benefit Meech. Now, Ross has gone completely silent. His supposed mission to help rebuild BMF has evaporated. Sources even claim he was the one who sabotaged Big Meech's welcome home benefit event, letting the public believe it was 50's doing, a classic diversion. Allegedly, Ross didn't want Meech regaining too much influence. He preferred to keep him sidelined while maintaining his good guy image. Even when 50 Cent dropped a cryptic post, later deleted, insisting he had nothing to do with the cancellation, the real story pointed straight back to Rick Ross. At the end of the day, Ross's loyalty seems to begin and end with whatever fattens his own pockets. For Big Meech, that realization came too late, and the empire he once dreamed of rebuilding may now be yet another casualty of Ross's relentless pursuit of clout and control. It all circles back to Rick Ross's behind-the-scenes power plays, the ones few people saw coming. For years, many underestimated just how calculated Ross really is, but the puzzle pieces are finally fitting together. That so-called BMF tribute track he dropped, which Big Meech believed was a sincere gesture of loyalty, now looks like part of a much bigger manipulation. It wasn't homage, it was strategy, crafted to keep Meech close and compliant while Ross quietly positioned himself to control the entire narrative. The deeper twist? Ross's real mission may never have been to uplift Big Meech at all. From the very beginning, it looks like the goal was to become Big Meech in the public eye, to wear the legend's image, power, and story as part of his own brand. That pattern runs deep in Ross's history. Time and again, he's built his persona on the names and legacies of real street icons, borrowing their credibility to solidify his own. The blueprint dates back to the start of his career. Ross literally took his rap name from Freeway Rick Ross, one of the most notorious drug traffickers of the 1980s. When the real Freeway Rick was behind bars, the rapper capitalized on his legacy. Once the real Rick was released, he confronted the rapper, accusing him of stealing his name, story, and identity, even filing a lawsuit in 2010. Though the court sided with the rapper on creative expression, the truth was obvious. Ross's image had been built off someone else's life. And it didn't stop there. Over the years, Ross has attached himself to real-life figures fresh out of prison, presenting himself as their ally while using their notoriety to fuel his own music and fame. In 2021, he leaned on the legacy of Larry Hoover, referencing him in tracks and interviews not to support Hoover's legal fight, but to boost his own street credibility. Critics slammed him for exploiting real people's struggles for clout, a criticism that's now resurfacing with Big Meech. The same script seems to be unfolding again. Ross cozied up to Meech right after his release, speaking about loyalty and legacy, but in reality, it was all about image and influence. The alliances, the music, the public appearances, they weren't about rebuilding BMF, they were about rebranding Rick Ross. That's why veterans like 50 Cent have long dismissed him, calling out his lack of authenticity and respect for real loyalty. And now, with the empire crumbling in public view, 50 Cent is reportedly watching from a distance and smiling. He doesn't even need to lift a finger. The situation is imploding on its own. As pundits debate who's to blame, the truth is becoming clearer. Ross knew exactly what he was doing. While chaos swirls around Big Meech and Lil Meech, 50 has been busy building, signing new deals, expanding his empire, and proving once again that strategy beats spectacle. Meanwhile, the Flenories are scrambling to stay relevant, hopping from one celebrity circle to another as their credibility continues to erode. Adding insult to injury, Ross recently tried to clown 50, mocking him for allegedly failing to secure funding for a film studio. That move backfired instantly when news broke that the loan was approved and 50's new studio is officially underway. Fans roasted Ross online, pointing out the irony. The man who once bragged about buying 50's masters is now watching him win without even responding. Industry voices like Zip with a Drip had warned that Ross would eventually betray Meech once the partnership stopped serving his interests, and that's exactly how it played out. What could have been a triumphant return for Big Meech has turned into a cautionary tale about misplaced loyalty, poor strategy, and trusting the wrong people. Now, observers say Meech's window for a comeback may have officially closed. His reputation, once untouchable, has been tainted not by law enforcement or rivals, but by his own alliances. For someone once seen as a symbol of power and respect, that fall from grace may be irreversible. As for Rick Ross, he's walked away relatively unscathed, at least for now. But even that victory may be temporary. Industry insiders are questioning how many bridges he's burned in his pursuit of control and whether his reputation for self-interest will eventually catch up to him. In the end, this saga has peeled back the curtain on the darker side of the hip-hop business, a world where loyalty is leveraged, friendships are transactional, and betrayal is just another business strategy. The shockwaves from this saga continue to rattle an industry built on trust, power, and perception. And while everyone else scrambles to contain the chaos, 50 Cent stands taller than ever. With fresh business deals in motion and the public narrative tilting in his favor, 50 isn't just surviving the drama, he's thriving in it. While others trade jabs online, he's quietly expanding his empire, proving once again that the smartest moves are made in silence. This entire situation has only cemented 50's reputation as one of the most strategic and intimidating figures in entertainment, a man who doesn't need to fight loud to win big. What began as a messy feud between Big Meech and Rick Ross has evolved into something much larger, a powerful story about how influence is earned, lost, and reclaimed, and how one wrong alliance can turn a comeback into a collapse. Across the culture, people are watching closely. Because this isn't just drama, it's a lesson. In hip-hop, loyalty without leverage is a gamble that almost never ends well. So let me get this straight. A former corrections officer betrays a man who spent decades behind bars, and a double dealer gets played by another double dealer. That's not drama, that's karma. Big Meech's comeback blueprint seems to have completely backfired, while Rick Ross, the man who built his image on the names of real legends, is now being exposed for using the same tactics that made him famous. It's the classic case of the hunter becoming the hunted, a brutal reminder that in a world powered by ego and manipulation, no one's untouchable forever. Will Big Meech regroup and launch a calculated countermove to reclaim his story? Or has this betrayal written the final chapter of his legacy? One thing's certain, this feud is far from finished. Every move from here on out will determine who truly walks away with the upper hand.